Well, Jets fans, the New York Jets have officially traded for star quarterback Aaron Rodgers and want to talk to our New York Post Jets beat writer, Brian Costello. Brian, what was your initial reaction when you finally saw the news Aaron Rodgers is going to be a New York Jet?
Thank God it's over. That was my initial action, Ryan. My life's been on hold, waiting for this, and I've been worried I'm going to be in the supermarket. I coach my daughter's softball team, on the softball field, or getting a haircut and not get the text. I've been worried about that stuff. So I'm glad it's over and we can move on. And once I started looked at it, look, the Jets gave up a lot. They did, but it could be worth it. So that was my initial reaction. I thought, knowing what I've known about what was holding up the trade, I thought they reached a compromise. I thought that it was a good compromise for. I think both sides can walk away feeling happy, and now the Jets and Packers can both get on with their business.
Right. We kind of were all looking at this week of the draft as this is going to be the final. The deal needs to happen this week. It seemed like it was going to get done, and after we heard some rumors that the talks have picked back up this past weekend. But I wanted to talk to you about how the details of this trade came down when you saw that the Jets are going to swap 13 and 15 in the first round this year, giving up a second round pick as well this year, a sixth rounder as well, and then that conditional second round pick next season. What did you make? Now you said that the Jets gave up too much, but in your estimations,
No, I
how do you
didn't say
think it
too
made out?
much. I said they gave up a lot. I didn't
Okay.
say too much because I think it's going to be defined, Ryan, on how this works out. Like I know
Right.
it's maybe a cop out, and we live in a world where there's debate shows on 24 hours a day, and they're going to have to say the Jets won, the Jets lost, the Packers won. It's not real. It's not reality though. It's like if the Jets go 12-5 and win the division and are in contention for the Super Bowl, like AFC Championship game, and Rodgers says he's coming back in 2024, heck, you give up all this for that. If the Jets go 9-8, Rodgers hurts his arm and they miss the playoffs and Rodgers is retiring after the season, then everyone's getting fired and the Jets gave up too much because it didn't work out. So it's really
Right.
going to be about the results, and so that's where it is. I thought, there was compromise involved here. The Packers wanted a first round pick next year. The Jets wanted to do conditional pick. I think what happened, the Jets gave them a pretty easy condition to meet. 60, if Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, they get a first round pick. I think in all likelihood, that is a first round pick right now. We talk about it as a second round pick that becomes a first round pick. It's probably a first round pick that could become a second round pick if Rodgers gets hurt. So,
Right.
so that way the Jets can say, hey, we didn't give up the first round pick. We didn't want to, but the Packers say, in reality, we're getting a first round pick. And then I think the swap this year is fine, 2 picks. If that was a key for the Packers, that's great for them to get that done. And everything else I thought made sense involved in it. So I think the compromise was probably the conditions on the pick next year.
Right. I think, like you said, that the conditions on next year's pick were a little interesting. Were you surprised that you saw it was tied to his playing time and not in the performance of the Jets team this upcoming
No,
season?
no, I thought it could be either. I was surprised it wasn't a little more.
Okay.
I thought it might be if Rodgers plays 17 games, it's a first round pick, right? Or I thought there'd be an or in there, or the Jets go to the Super Bowl, something like that.
Gotcha.
I thought it would be double. I thought it would be about the individual and the team with an either or. So I was a little surprised that it's just 65% because if he doesn't hit that, then this trade is a disaster because that means he got hurt. So I was surprised it was that low.
So the Jets are obviously going all in on Aaron Rodgers. They're building this team around him now. We've seen how they made moves for Alan Lazard, Mecole Hardman. They're trying to build that wide receiver core around him. Obviously, you have the reigning rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, and Garrett Wilson. So let's head into the draft now at number 15 overall for this upcoming Thursday for the Jets. Do you see them? Do you see the Jets taking an offensive tackle there at 15? Is that the target that they're going to go after?
I do. I think, Ryan, if you look at it, it's a glaring hole right now. The offensive line and Aaron Rodgers is going to need to be protected. Every quarterback needs to be protected. So that's the priority. And I think at 15, there still should be a good tackle available. I think 2 or 3 might be off the board by then, but they should be able to get a good one, whether it's Broderick Jones from Georgia or Darnell Wright from Tennessee. There's going to be somebody available at 15 for them. And to me, that's the biggest hole on the team right now. And in light of acquiring Aaron Rodgers, it's really, really, really more important, right? This isn't Josh Allen who's going to run around. Aaron Rodgers was very mobile, younger, but he's going to be 40 years old this season. He doesn't run quite as much as he used to, and he doesn't like to be pressured. The stats show that. I don't know any quarterback who does, but that's going to be a huge priority for them. I think is just protecting Aaron Rodgers.
Well, we're going to see how they address that position, obviously, and we'll see on Thursday night where they go. My last question to you, Brian, to finish all this up. Now that we talk about Aaron Rodgers actually being a New York Jet, where do you see this team standing? How do you see this playing out both for both the Jets offense and for the team overall?
Yeah, I think for the offensive line is key. What can they do there? Can not just the draft pick, but can they get something out of Mekhi Becton? Can they get something out of Dwayne Brown? Can Laken Tomlinson bounce back from last year? Does Elijah Vera Tucker return at 100%? So I think that the offense, the questions right now are really about the line more than the other positions. And then as a team, the expectations the playoffs, right? You were 7-10 with no quarterback, basically. Now you got Aaron Rodgers. Jets feel like that's going to help them get 4 or 5 wins, right? So the expectation is playoffs. And I think then the dream is the Super Bowl, right? I don't think you can expect the Super Bowl just because of Aaron Rodgers, but I think you can expect the playoffs, and then who knows what happens when you make the playoffs. So, the Bengals showed that a few years ago. Nobody thought they were going to the Super Bowl, and they did it. So, I think that's the key right now for Jets fans is you should expect to make the playoffs, and you can dream about the Super Bowl now, which is something you haven't been able to do for a long time.
Woody Johnson asked a lot of Jets fans on social media today, how are we all feeling? Brian's going to be there to be covering the Jets all throughout this process and this upcoming season. Aaron Rodgers, like we said, is going to be a New York Jet. Brian, appreciate you as always, man.
Thank you, Ryan.